One of the things about the saw hobby is sometimes it's hard to rationalize the things that you have. And we try talking about it all the time, about why one's better than the other and all this and that. And sometimes that actually makes sense, especially if you have real jobs to do. So let's just kind of turn the page here and talk about a saw that's entered into the channel now and see what you guys think. And some of you guys are going to be mad, and some of you guys are going to say, haha, that's a very good choice. But anyway, it's a choice. It's my choice. The new addition is the new release from the Holzfforma group, which is a g888. 888. And I'm not a steel guy, but I suspected that it's based on the MS 880. That's what it looks like to me. And when I first got it out of the box, my first impression is, this is a big freaking saw. You know what I'm saying? But when I started looking at the plastic and the basic appointments, it's pretty obvious to me that Holzfforma or Farmertech or whoever you want to call them, they've upped their game a little bit, and I think this saw here might be an indication of that. You can't predict, you just don't know, right? But my first impression is that the fit and finish on this saw is a little bit better than some that I've seen before. Now I worked through these 660s to the point where we came up with a solid build. I've got that all documented, and they basically started changing some of their suppliers and some of their methods and materials. And the current version of the 660 is better than the ones that I were building as they are delivered from Farmertech. The only problem I had with this guy was there's a chip broke out of the cover, and that has nothing to do with Holzfforma or Farmertech. It has everything to do with the guy who tossed it onto my ground. And so I'm going to come up with a different, I'm going to come up with a different cover for sure, right? This is here is a metal piece. The rubber is nice and pliable. The plastic up here feels good. It doesn't have that kind of brittle feel that some of the early ones had, This is a filter that we've seen before, and I've had decent luck with them. Look at the size of that freaking carburetor. Oh my God. Look at the way the intake horn is. I bet that flows a lot of air. That's a big gulp. And the way it comes, it has a 404 sprocket, and this is a large mount steel, and I don't really have a bar. I've got one that might fit, but I really don't have a bar for the saw, so I can't do it justice today. But what I'd like to do is assemble it, show you the things that came in the box, and then maybe get it to fire. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm kind of looking forward to that thing. But when I look at this saw, it just reminds me of a big 660. Let me see if I can get the handle on. And let me see whether or not there's a tool in here to help me do that. So in this package that came, it does come with a T27 Torx. I'm not sure what this is yet. But let me see what we got to do to get this on first. Now while this little wrench is not the best, it does work. I would say that if you have a good steel T27 wrench, I would suggest you use it. I was successful in the handle installation of that. And big saw. That's a big freaking saw. Alright, what's next? Those we have here. Got screwdrivers to adjust. I'm really not sure we'll need to. It actually does get in there, so that screwdriver actually will work. Alright, so in the package came the bucking spikes and some hardware. That's what we got. 2 bucking spikes. The same. I think what's going to end up happening is, yeah, I'm going to have to take off this side plate. So this wrench is again employed to take off this little side plate. Now these are nylon lock nuts, so you need a wrench of some kind to hold that. So I don't have one in the toolkit, so I do need to add one tool to the set in order to finish that installation. And unfortunately, I didn't bring my normal set of tools, so we're going to have to use a pair of pliers. That's all right. Okay. So now I have the bucking spike on. I'm going to put the plate right back on that. The case looks beautiful. The casting in the case looks beautiful. Now, you know those little jokes you see about the cold steel? That's all I've got, guys. So I apologize. Ahead of time. Now, the chain adjuster, that's a little bit small, so I guess I'm going to have to, actually it turns. This chain adjuster is way, way smoother than what I'm used to in the 660s. So that seems like it's an improvement. So honestly, other than a loose screw, of course I've been accused of having a couple of loose screws, this thing here looks like it's going to be fine. Now I got this is a beat up old 404, it's not sharp. This is not a sharp thing. I just want something to run, that's all. This 404 chain was one I used on my big Homelite. So I don't know if it's going to fit on this or not. Because what I had done was I had blended the steel bar to the Homelite and then had someone cut a chain to fit. Yeah, that chain adjuster is actually quite a bit better than what I would have expected from my past experiences with the brand. That works pretty good. Tell me if that's not ridiculous looking. That 20-inch bar is about as long as the saw itself. So I'm sorry I don't have anything more substantial than that, but at least I can, that's definitely like that joke. At least I'll be able to test the saw. It's got flippy caps, like that. So you're going to get all this real time. As I do it, you will see it. Good, bad, or indifferent. That's the modus operandi on this channel. All right, let me see if I can get it started. It's a little cold out. I should have a sweater on. But I have this feeling it's going to be a workout. Choke, decomp. See if I can pull it over. One thing I like already is the handle's big enough for me to put my foot in there. we're going to break it in easy. I'm not going to go push it. I want to do a couple of heat cycles, but all I can tell you is, wow, the power definitely does not disappoint. That's the only way I can describe it. Let's see if it restarts. I love it. I love this thing. This thing is awesome. What a beast. What a beast. And so far, I don't see anything. I got to worry about, like I said, I tightened up the one K screw, so I'll pull it apart and do that. And make sure the others are tight. But this thing runs, it idles. Let's see if it restarts. Nope. It would help to turn it on. Okay, it restarts nice. I don't know if you can see on the chain, but it's throwing quite a bit of oil. I don't know if that'll show on the camera, but yes, trust me, it's oiling quite well. It's not leaking any gas anywhere. It's not leaking any bar oil except for where it's supposed to be. It restarted well. It has all the power in the world. The other thing I noticed is it does have high idle that works on this side right here. And that's been an issue on some of the ones in the past. So to those people who have spent time with the Farmer-Tech stuff in the past where the controls don't give you high idle and the chain brake give you a little bit of a tough time, not on this saw. And I think this one's going to actually be able to do some work for me. I know it's heavy, but I can actually operate it. So I'm going to put a little bit of time on this saw. The two saws I think that are going to get the most time this year are that 565 and this one right here. This one here is going to be used for noodling, you know, some of the blocking, but also some of the milling operation I have to do. And I do have some big maples that have to get blocked. And this is going to take the load off my collector saws and my hobby saws. And you know, you buy something like this with the mentality of if it blows up, what do you care? You don't have that much money into it. But I can tell you right now, after spending a few minutes, I don't want it to blow up. I want it to work because I like it. If I'm a steel person, these are going to sell a whole bunch of bar and chains for you. I can tell you that, because most people can't afford $2,000, but they can't afford 6 or 7. You know, and now there's going to be a bunch of people who buy stuff like this who now need a decent bar and chain, and I'll plug it all day long. I think the steel bars are one of the best bang for buck bars you can buy out there. So I'm going to run down and get one for this. And also you're going to see people buy the rubber parts, OEM. So stock up on them, bud. Because of the cost structure and the parts availability, I'm not going to be afraid to use this one. It's going to get a fair amount of use. Well, as long as I can lift it up. So, I think this is a winner. And it's pure bling. Nobody needs something like this. Not really. We can rationalize ourselves into it, but this is a lot of fun right here. And yeah, I do have some big work, so it'll actually get tested. But it's a testament to the original design. I'm a little surprised at the throttle response. It's quite snappy, and it seemed like it wanted to rev. I didn't expect that. I kind of expected an old torquer, but it runs very well. It's quite snappy for a big saw. So I kind of can't wait until I can put a big bar on it and actually stick it in some big wood. I'm actually kind of excited about this saw. So this is really cool. This was cool.